Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And today we're going to give our first impressions, or at least my very first impression, your
My
third impression on Project Elite. So, tell us a little bit about Project Elite, since, to be honest, I didn't know that much about it outside of the name. I'd heard it several times. I think it was on Tom Basil's top 100 games of all time. I'd heard him talk about that. I think it was in his top 10 even.
It was actually his number one. This was the game that dethroned Gloomhaven, which immediately put it on the map for me, and I'm guessing you as well. Kind of got familiar with the name and hearing it from that. If it's someone who we watch quite a bit, and our tastes are usually somewhat close to those of the Dice Tower and their creators, to have it be a number one definitely caught my attention. But I still didn't look too much into it until kind of this last year when we did our games that we would like to play from either before 2020 or after. So then I looked into this one a little more, and I actually found out it was a real-time game, something I did not know. And definitely didn't expect from the cover, because there's kind of real-time games kind of feel like party games, to me at least when I hear that, and this does not look like a party game.
No, it does not look like a party game. Yeah, that was something I did not know either. I did not know that this was a real-time game. I would not have guessed, for any reason, that would have been one of the very last things I would have guessed that this game had to it. But yeah, just based on the cover, since it wasn't very old-looking, pioneer-y, Euro-y looking for me, it didn't catch my attention as much. And yeah, it was kind of originally like Gloomhaven, because I can't remember if he had, I'm sure when he was going through it, he probably said cooperative or whatever. At that point, we hadn't really played too many cooperative games, but they weren't really something we were into. But within this last year, you'd kind of gotten into more of them, and kind of opened up that genre, and it kind of opened me up to playing some more cooperative games as well. But yeah, this is one I still had not really looked that much at, just because I was worried. It looks like a game. Well, just based on the fact I didn't know that it was real time. If I had known that, then I would have probably thought, well, maybe this one is a little easier. But from looking at the cover, I assumed that this was like a complex type game that, I don't know, different fighting mechanisms, or
just
different
a lot of different effects,
cards and effects and stuff that you had to remember that you had and stuff, and maybe like battling out on a map type thing. And it's not quite up my alley 100%. But so even once you got it, I still didn't know it was a real-time game. I didn't know much about it. I still didn't know much about it until we just played it.
Yes, just yesterday. So yeah, just that. Figuring out it's real-time, seeing it, watching a playthrough online, I was like, this game looks really unique and different. A lot of real-time games, at least the ones we played, have been kind of just trying to do things faster than other players. This one is actually cooperative, and you're just rolling dice and running around a map to complete objectives and kill aliens. And I thought, I don't see any game getting a theme like this to come across better than actually doing exactly that, running around in real time and shooting aliens. So I got very excited by that.
Yeah, I think the real-time aspect of it definitely fits with the theme of the game. Once I knew what this was about, I didn't even know that it was about fighting aliens. I thought it was like maybe some sort of war type game based on the cover. But it is definitely not. It's not even close to what I would have imagined it is. But yeah, that made me more excited once you had explained that it was a real-time game, and you were kind of rolling that you had 2 minutes to kind of try to do as much as you could. Because at first in my head I was thinking each round you got to, so you had 4 dice to start with. I thought you only got to like roll them all and take one result from the dice. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound that fun. But I didn't realize you were just getting able to roll them over and over again, trying to get the different icons and stuff to do certain things, which was a lot more fascinating than I had originally imagined in my mind what this game was.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it is played over 8 rounds. So you kind of spawn some monsters or aliens, and then you have a 2-minute real-time round, which adds up to about 16 minutes of actual playtime where you can do things, which is just interesting. Looking at a game like this and being like, really, you're only playing for 16 minutes. And I don't know, there's in-between time, obviously, with rounds and different effects, but I don't remember how long did the game actually take from beginning to end.
I don't remember. I was still kind of. I was learning the game. I didn't know anything about it. And I think some of the things took a little bit setting up the so yeah, between each round you set up monsters, have the monsters kind of move and do any actions that they could potentially do. And that takes. It probably takes at least that 2 minutes outside of it, so it's probably like 4 minutes around. Probably, I would think, at least. But yeah, I think once you know how to play this game, I don't think it would take. I don't think it takes that long to play it. Probably an hour-ish, maybe.
I would think so,
or maybe even less. I'm not 100% sure, and I don't know. Based on your player count, if that would. I'm trying to think if it would extend it or not. Not 100% sure.
I'm not sure. I think there's more objectives to complete, but you also have more players to complete them. So I think it would be about the same.
Yeah. So, we ended up playing on the easy mode. There's a few different levels that you can choose. You said one of them you tried the medium mode. I tried the
medium mode, and it introduced a whole batch of event cards, because you have one event per round. It introduced a whole batch of those that we had nothing like that in the easy mode, and I can see why, because those were pretty hard to deal with, because you have to allocate multiple of your just 4 dice that you have to complete these objectives every round, which can really be a distraction to what you want to do, but also if you don't complete it, it's going to continue to hurt you from round to round. I see why they remove those for the easy play. But yeah, I definitely think that ratchets up the difficulty a couple levels.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought that it was. I don't think that it was like easy, but I think like now knowing, because there was one point in the game where I had kind of gone out onto the board and then came back, but like looking at it now, I should have never went back. I don't know really what I was thinking.
Well, and some more loot.
You said you didn't really notice what I was doing. And I think looking back, I probably shouldn't have done that. It would have made it easier on us, but me going back like that, I think ended up making the game a little more exciting for us.
Yeah, you got a little too cocky with your special ability, which let you move more efficiently.
Right, yeah, because I got to move 2 spaces every time I rolled the one thing. And it's just crazy. Whatever you're trying to roll with these, even though you're only 4 dice, I guess I didn't even look at what the quantity was for each symbol. Was it one of each? I don't even know.
I think it's one of each. I think it is one of each, yeah.
So yeah, you think it'd be easy to roll it, and it seems like whenever you're trying to roll one thing, you don't roll it, and you just roll. There's these ones that are monster movement. It just seems like you constantly are rolling those, then so the monsters are getting closer and closer to your base, and it's just,
And when rolling your dice, I've never felt so angry at a die that just would not settle. It just keeps rolling, even if it feels like seconds and when you're doing it, but it's probably only like half a second, but it's like, settle, right. I need to re-roll you, right? The time's running out. The rounds are so short, but
it feels like you have a lot of time, but you really don't.
But yeah, I think the rounds are probably 2 minutes is probably the perfect amount of time for that. You get to do quite a bit, which we kind of came down to the wire. We were victorious, but the last round of the game, we had to complete one objective, which would take up some of our dice. So I think then we had to run all the way back to the base. And you had
all the way across the board. Yeah, I had one die.
And I had 2. So
so I was just trying. We were pretty much just trying to run at that point.
Yeah, we were pretty much just trying to run. Except this guy, I got stuck behind him because you can't move through any figures. So I was stuck behind him, and he wasn't even trying to run. He was trying to battle the boss.
Well, I rolled the symbol for my gun, so I took out the other dice and tried to hit him. And I was successful twice. But that might have wasted some valuable seconds. Looking back, it wasn't the smartest move.
Yes.
But yeah, it was fun to just be pretending like I'm running past and I'm just blasting away, even though it doesn't even matter if we kill it or not. That just added a little bit. It got us down to the last 8 seconds. We won with like 8 seconds remaining, pretty much. Well, I mean, we still had to move the monsters, but we knew with where they were that we had won with that little bit of time left. But if it had been another round and we'd have had to defend, there were quite a few monsters that would have been, or aliens that would have been right there on us.
Yeah.
But yeah. Otherwise, what do you end up, or I guess we kind of know kind of what you were thinking, kind of right away, and then kind of when you ended up buying the game, what you were thinking. But what were your expectations with it?
I had pretty high expectations for this. As you know, I've gotten more into the kind of battling monsters types of games with Jaws of the Lion being my number one game of 2021. And then I felt anything that can give me that theme like this, and also with throw in a unique mechanism there with the real time. I was very excited and I had very high expectations for it.
Yeah, obviously, like I said, I knew nothing. My expectations were pretty much nothing. I was obviously hoping that it would be good. It would be something that I'd like, since it's a cooperative one. But I think my interest was piqued when you said it was real time. I'm like, okay, well, this is then, I'm assuming, not what I thought it was, because you're not going to have some complex fighting system if you have a real-time thing. I was hoping not, because I can't even imagine if it was more complex how you would be able to do all that or think through all that at once. So my expectations going in were pretty low. Didn't have too much for expectations, but you can maybe kind of tell. I ended up liking it quite a bit.
I ended up liking it quite a bit as well. I would say this has met my expectations.
Did it exceed it?
It may have exceeded it, although they were really high expectations. Like, I was expecting like 9 or 10, which may give away my actual rating of it. But yeah, I think the theme comes through perfectly, and I can, without a doubt, say this is my favorite implementation of real time in a game. I absolutely love just running around and killing aliens.
So it kicks out Bob's Burgers for you.
I didn't even think of Bob's Burgers, but I think so, sadly.
Dang it.
But
nice.
yeah, I think for a rating, this is got to be a 9 to 10. I loved the experience of this game.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit as well. I think it's going to take a few games to really know if this feels samey from game to game. I'm not sure. How much can you change up with this? Is there much outside of those cards and stuff?
I don't think there's much setup change or anything like that other than difficulty or characters. I mean, there are like 5 different ways to play where we had to go and pretty much just extermination, it was called. There's like 5 different setups, I guess, there. I don't know how those play. I know there's something with traps, which I don't know if it's just going to be like a different name on the same kind of mechanism or if it's actually going to feel different. So we'll have to explore that. But I think pretty much it's going to probably feel pretty similar from game to game, running around and doing that stuff. But for me, personally, I don't think that's a drawback to the game because that's what I want from the game. I don't really care about variability. It's just more about that experience.
Yeah, and I think for me, I'll probably I could see this one going either way. It could go up from here or down from here for me. I think I'm right around a 7.58. I really liked that first play, and I liked that it came down to the wire for us. I'd be interested to see how hard like the medium and hard are, because I think I don't like things that are too hard that feel like you can't win, but I do like a challenge. So as long as it's a challenge and not like a impossibility where you need pretty much everything to go right, or really need to know the game.
One in a billion times you win.
Right. But yeah, I do really like how it all works, and I think the theme comes through. It makes sense that you're running. You're trying to hurry as quickly as possible and try to get out there and back before the aliens kind of take over the area. And yeah, it's just kind of cool being able to trade out weapons and different items that kind of do a little. So we did cheat a little bit because I did not read on the health pack thing that I got that it was supposed to be discarded once it's used. So I healed myself multiple times, and then I handed it off to you to use.
And I healed multiple times.
And then I got the option of 3 more, and I'm like, why does this heal one say that I have to discard it? This is so much worse than that first one. And then you looked at it, and it said that it was supposed to be discarded. So we cheated a little bit. So, but yeah, I look forward to playing this one for sure more. I definitely look forward to getting it back to the table sooner than later. So that's always a good sign. But yeah, I could see this one going either way for me. I think it kind of depends how much the games feel similar from game to game. But I think it definitely has its place in the collection where it's going to be way different than pretty much any other game we have because of that real-time aspect. Like you said, I think it's a really good implementation of it, and it's probably really love After the Empire because of its tower defense feel. But I think this one is up there as well for that, which is something that I look for
it's
in
kind
games
of like
as well.
a zoomed in, kind of on the ground, After the Empire type.
Trying to keep things out, and so I definitely look forward to playing again. If this didn't sound or look interesting to you, I would suggest looking into it. If you just heard the name or saw the box cover, haven't really or don't really know what it's about, I would definitely suggest at least looking into it a little bit more if that sounds interesting to you at all.
If you want to see us scream chaotically for an hour or less, we can do a playthrough if you're interested in that. I know we're doing our alphabet soup this year or whatever. Maybe we'll have to review this one for the P once we
get
it
there.
A little more.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure we will get rules wrong. Anytime it's a real-time game, I think that's probably it just happens, I think.
Yeah. But if it's cooperative, then no one cares.
No one cares at all. But yeah, otherwise, if you've made it this far and you like what you see, if you want to see more first impressions and videos and possibly, like you said, that playthrough, leave a comment below letting us know, and also feel free to subscribe so you can see when those videos are uploaded. Otherwise, if you liked it, give us a like, and we will hopefully see you next time. But you need to remember. As always,
we always nail these outros.
Outros are awesome. We have that long Minnesota goodbye when no one wants to be the one to end the conversation. That's why these videos drag on for hours.
But as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling.